This lens is sharper. This lens zooms in further. This is going to be better in low light, but this has OSS. Which do you buy? The 24-105 f4 doesn't sound like anything special on paper. Canon has this exact lens in RF mount and it's considered a kit lens. I normally look at these lenses and just assume, it's gonna be okay. But I thought the same thing about the Sigma 24-70 and now I love that. So let's compare these two lenses. And if you're wondering why you're gonna do that, well, if you're looking for a one and done lens, if you buy one lens and you're done, these are probably both in your shopping basket. Things we're gonna be covering in today's video on screen right now. Expect examples of all those because that's what I like to do. Everything in today's video was shot on a combination of the Sony a7S III and the a7 III, both full frame cameras, and I thought that was the fairest way to do this. Let's kick things off with autofocus. Now for this test, I had both cameras set to continuous autofocus. The focus mode was wide. On both cameras, the sensitivity autofocus speed was the highest that it could go, and then on the a7S III, I had the transition speed set to slap bang in the middle as it comes out the box, because the a7 III doesn't have that, and that's the fairest way I could do this test. Take it away, Chris. All right, autofocus test with both lenses. At f4, shutter is cranked because I didn't bring NDs. Out the frame, back in the frame. Close, out, and back in. Let's take a look at the sharpness and optics of both of these lenses side by side. Now I'll keep this quite straightforward. At 24mm, both of these lenses suffer from pretty bad distortion. The Sigma's a little bit worse than the Sony, and the Sony has worse vignetting than the Sigma. Both of these issues can be corrected in Lightroom pretty easily. Side by side at 24mm f4, it's kind of hard to tell which lens is sharper than the other. However, if you zoom into 50mm and then 70mm, which is the three tests I performed, 24, 50, and 70, you can tell that the Sigma is definitely sharper in the middle. Now that being said, in the corners, it does appear that the Sony is a little bit sharper. I then did exactly the same test at f8, so 24, 50, and 70mm, and it's clear across all of those focal ranges that the Sigma is sharper in the middle and at the corners. It's not a massive difference, but if you zoom in a little bit in the photos, it's pretty obvious. Here's a little test of myself doing Selfie, just a test I like to do just to show eye sharpness. Now again, both lenses were shot on the same body and it grabbed my eye both times. I saw that little box around there. Side by side, 24mm, f4. It's kind of hard to tell which is sharper than the other. If you start to look at my hairy eyebrows, you'll notice that it's a little bit more defined on the Sigma, so arguably the Sigma has the win here too, but it's pretty hard to tell. If you want to do your own tests, the side-by-sides, to take a look at the RAWs, I'll pop all the images down below for you as well. If you wanted to vlog with each of these lenses at 24mm, here's how that would look. Hey, if you like this video, chances are you probably will like the other videos I make too. So maybe try hitting subscribe down below. All right, thanks. So if you were to vlog with these lenses, this is how it both look at 24. OSS turned on the 24-105, and it's a little bit further away than how I typically hold it because I'm holding it with the tripod between my legs like this. So this is how it looked to vlog with both lenses at 24, if you're interested. Let's take a look at how your focal lengths differ. And that's why we put our phone on silent. Or not. Hey, I'm trying to film a video, you know. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, it won't take long. Aren't you meant to be out getting test shots today? I am. I'm shooting the 24-105 versus the 24-70. I've got both cameras rolling right now, but I just thought of something and that's why I wanted to call you. So, what's up? So I know you're filming your video today. Can you tell them about the desk? You know, the desk, the new one that got sent? No, I'm not doing that. Why? Just tell them, it won't take long. I know you like it. Why don't you do it? In the edit, you can find somewhere to splice it in. Okay then. Well, I will definitely do that. It's a standing desk from a brand called Flexispot. And full transparency, they did send this through for me to take a look at, but I have been looking at a standing desk for a while. As soon as I hit 30, downhill from my back from there. I spend a lot of time sitting and I want to do less of that because I'm editing all the time. So a standing desk is a way to do that. Standing up, better posture for my back. This model is the EC1. It goes up to a maximum height of 48 inches, which is actually right there. I'm 6 feet, so you can kind of gauge how high it is. It's actually a little bit too high right now. My arms are going up, so it should go down a little bit. When I want to sit and have a chair here, it goes down to a comfortable 28 inches. And it's incredibly easy to use, very straightforward. 2 buttons. If you want to go up, you hold up. If you want to go down, you hold down. It's as simple as that. A baby could use it. Now there are other models that have like a control panel with presets there and a little monitor to show you how high you are, but I mean, up and down is pretty straightforward. It was easy to put together as long as you got like a power screwdriver, 30 minutes, good to go. Flexispot will give you free shipping and you'll get $15 off your first order if you click the link down below. Back to the video. Sony is going to give you more zoom. Let's take a look at how the focal lengths differ. Now, obviously one of the biggest reasons to go for the 24-105 over the 24-70 is the focal range. So I'm going to zoom right in down there so you can see the difference you get from 70 to 105. So right now we're at 24 on both lenses and we're going to go to 70 on the 24-105, which is right there, and then the 70 on the 24-70 Sigma. Now the 24-105 can go a little bit further. So that is your extra reach from 70 to 105. Back out to 70 just for comparison. The framing might look slightly different as the cameras are at a little bit of a different angle. Back to 105. So this gives you about 30% more reach from the Sigma. Where the Sigma ends at 70, this goes all the way into 105. Now, some situations, if you can't move forwards or you can't crop in, that's going to be pretty useful. And you're going to know which situations you're going to need that for if you shoot those kinds of things. Optical steady shot, something this lens has which the Sigma does not. Right on the side, right there. OSS can be turned on and off directly on the lens. And a big reason to pick this lens over the Sigma. And it makes a difference, especially when you're zoomed all the way in there. You will definitely see more shake when you're more zoomed in. For this next test, I was using this setup here. I had both cameras attached to this plate and I was hand holding it. And I turned off steady shot on both camera bodies to make it fair. Okay, so both lenses are at 24. OSS is turned off on the 24-105 and steady shot is turned off on both of the camera bodies here. Now this is a bit of a heavier setup, so you're probably not seeing that many micro jitters anyway. Weight always helps with those kinds of things. I'm now going to go ahead and turn OSS on the 24-105. So any little micro jitters that we did have are now pretty much gone, or at least smooths them out. It's a much more pleasing handheld look. So now we're at 70 and you're probably seeing a little bit of jitters. Now I'm going to turn OSS on the 24-105. And it will now smooth out a lot of that. So that is with OSS on. Turn OSS off once again. That is OSS off on the 24-105 and back on. So that is why having optical steady shot is sometimes pretty useful when you're zooming in. And a quick note here, if you have the Sony a7S III, it has active steady shot, which is fantastic and works really well. But if you try and use it with OSS in a lens, you will see little bits of weird warping in the corners. I've heard it from other people and I have experienced it myself. So you've been warned. If you have active steady shot, either use that or OSS, don't use both together. Now another point on that, the a7S III having active steady shot is incredible, and to be honest with you, I've been using the Sigma 24-70 f2.8 with it for a long time, and it does a real good job. So OSS is great, but if you have the a7S III, you have active steady shot, so something to think about. All right, low light performance, f2.8 versus f4. It's easy to say which is gonna be better. It's the f2.8 in case you didn't know. But how does that translate into a real world situation where you're using the same settings with both lenses? How different is f2.8 to f4? Let's take a look. So what we have right here is just a demonstration to show you at f2.8 on the Sigma 24-70 how this looks. And now we're going to turn on the f4 on the 24-105 on this camera right here. Now this is purely just an example to show you. I don't really know which lens to look at. You could counter the differences with ISO. It's just so you can see between f2.8 and f4 how it looks in a low light situation. Here's another test. Same settings on both cameras, f2.8 on this one, f4 on this one. This is how it differs between f2.8 and f4. Put it on this side just so you can see. Put it down here. Facing up. That's the difference between f2.8 and f4. Bokeh, whatever you want to call it. Little example here to show you the difference between f2.8 and f4. In this example, the lens I was shooting, you're gonna see is like here, and then the fairy lights are like here. Just the example I'm showing you right now. So we're at f4 right now. That is f2.8. Back to f4. F2.8. Build quality and pricing. Now, lenses go on sale all the time. Both of these are included in that. The Sigma isn't on sale right now, but it's $10.98 US. That's its regular price. This regular price is $13.98, but is currently on sale for $11.98. Sony's giving you a $200 rebate. So they're about a $100 difference right now and very similar in terms of price. In terms of height, don't be fooled by the lens hood. The lens hood is what makes them look different in size. They're actually very similar in terms of height. And the lens hood on the Sony, when it goes on, it sounds like this. It's like a very dissatisfying click, whereas on the Sigma, it's like a, sounds good. I like the lens hood click on that one. That's not something you care about, is it? The Sony lens is on par with all of Sony's other lenses. If you have any other Sony lens, it's that brushed kind of black finish on them, whereas the Sigma is a combination of matte and shiny finishes. Both lenses have decent zoom rings, but the Sony one is a lot firmer to turn compared to the Sigma one. If we actually extend both lenses all the way, you'll see that the Sigma actually compresses itself. The focus ring on the Sigma is nearly double the size of the focus ring on the Sony. However, it's a bit loose on this one. I've always said that. It's not bad, it's just when you use a Sony lens, you realize how good they do their focus rings, and I gotta say, if I'm honest, I prefer the focus ring on this compared to the Sigma one. I'd like the width of this on this. If possible, please, Sony. Both lenses have the little button on the side there. You can assign it to different things. A common thing I like to use it for is eye autofocus. Minimum focus distance on this is 0.38 meters or 38 centimeters, and on this one it's 18 centimeters. So it's a fair bit different. What does that mean? Well, it means you can get a lot closer to your object with the Sigma than you can with the Sony, and this is gonna be in focus, like 20 centimeters closer than this will be. Let's talk about dust quickly, because this comes up all the time when I talk about this lens. If you get bothered by dust being in your lens, albeit if it doesn't affect image or photo quality or video quality in any way, do not buy the Sigma. I'm not gonna go into detail why. I'll link my other video up here where I've talked about it in a little bit more detail. This I've had for 6 months and there are specks of dust in it. This I've had for the best part of a month. There's not a trace of dust in there. So just go watch that video and makes more sense. So many people care about how their lens looks compared to how it performs. It doesn't affect your image quality. That's all you need to know. So this lens is sharper. This lens zooms in further. This is going to be better in low light, but this has OSS. Which do you buy? This is a tricky one, and ultimately I can't make the decision for you. It has to be up to you. That's why I made this video. It demos the differences between these two and hopefully allows you to, or helps make your decision. For me, if you have an A7S III, the Sigma is the clear winner. You don't need OSS because you have active steady shot, which works fantastic. This is cheaper, it's faster, better in low light, f2.8 versus f4, and it's sharper. So this is the winner if you have an A7S III. However, the reason that I picked up this is because I want to buy an FX6, and we can finally buy them. They're backordered everywhere. That doesn't have any form of stabilization built in, so the OSS is really useful. The extra focal range would also come in handy if you are going away and you want to shoot a wide variety of things, or you're traveling and you don't want to bring other lenses with you. Also, if you don't have an A7S III, any older Sony camera has steady shot, but I'll be honest, it's not great compared to active steady shot, so the OSS is going to come in handy for you. So that is my thoughts on it. But as I said, ultimately, you're the one that has to make the decision. And a lot of you are going to ask, well, why didn't you throw the Tamron in the mix? I'll link you my video up there covering the Tamron. I've owned it, I've sold them. They just never had a wow factor to me. The image quality was okay, it wasn't anything special. And in low light, I didn't find the autofocus to be that reliable. So yeah, just go watch the video, that makes more sense. And that's that. Thank you for watching today. I hope you got some value out of this if you're looking at buying either of these two guys. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.